Okay, right. Yeah. No, the reason why I'm chuckling is because I recently had a conversation, you know, with a few people, okay? And it started off as a innocent conversation. It then converted into some form of dialogue, okay? Meaning it was a more robust form of conversation, okay, and then it eventually graduated into what I would allege is an argument, okay, which is fundamentally a good thing, okay, right? But there's a reason why I'm now bringing this up, okay, and the reason why I am bringing this up is because some of the individuals were conveying and establishing an array, meaning a range of what they proposed as counter arguments. Okay, simply meaning one person is saying A and another person is saying B, and the person who's saying B, they are giving their reasons for stating B, and the person or persons who's stating A, they are giving their reasons for stating A. So there's nothing wrong with that, okay? However, there's everything wrong with it if you subject it to the premise that, listen, A cannot be B and B cannot be A. Okay? Simply meaning if something had to be true, it can either be A or B, or A and B are both not true. Okay? And once you subject the conversation to that premise, then the underlying mechanistic structure of what is being discussed now has to be evaluated. Okay? And when I was listening, to the individuals who were saying B as opposed to saying A, I was very concerned. The reason why I was very concerned is because, listen, I don't mind if you are making an argument and you are wrong. Like, I don't mind. Everyone is allegedly wrong at some point, okay? The thing that is a concern for me is you are making an argument, and obviously the argument is based upon a set of underlying assumptions, and when you present the argument that's based upon a set of assumptions, you need to at least be aware of those assumptions. Equally so, you need to have at least stress tested those assumptions. Now, here's the trick. The trick is, in some cases, a lot of the assumptions upon which you are basing your argument on, most of those assumptions, sometimes they are not known to you, which is fine. But the ones that are known to you, like, you should have at least stress tested those assumptions, okay? And upon stress testing the validity, the truthfulness of those assumptions, okay, now you're supposed to say, okay, listen, the thing that I am saying is B, and then B is dependent on these three things, okay? And then out of these three things, I've at least established that the two things, okay, are factual or true or correct. And in a lot of the cases, you will find that when you have done that, then at least when you present your argument is to say, listen, B, the answer or the whatever is B, then you should at least state as to say, listen, I say B, presenting it as a conditional truth, not as an absolute truth, okay? Simply meaning these are the set of conditions within, to the best of my knowledge, I'm of the opinion B is true. Simply meaning if this is the range, then obviously outside of that range, I'm not sure if B is true or not. But within this specific range, what I am stating should fundamentally be true, or at least largely be true, because these underlying assumptions within these conditions or set of boundaries is true, okay? And then when you argue like that, then we say, okay, right. The listener is now saying, listen, based on what you are saying, there's 4 underlying assumptions, and there's a fourth one. You've mentioned 3, but there's a fourth one. And based on that fourth one, I've stress tested that assumption. That assumption is false, simply meaning within that set of parameters, within that range of your argument is false. Then you tell the person, no, it can be false. Like, I'm open to that. But now the issue is, we have people who, they engage in discussions, critical discussions, technical discussions, okay? Sometimes robust discussions, and then they are not mindful of the underlying assumptions upon which their arguments are based upon. And that makes critical discussions, intellectually rigorous discussions, yeah? It makes them a danger, both not just on an individual level, but also on a community level or a collective level. Because now there are people who look up to these individuals who make these fundamentally flawed arguments, and then they believe that these arguments are true, because a lot of these people, they are on their level, in whatever form, they are what we refer to as authoritative figures. That means if this person says so, then it must be so. I mean, come now. But now here's the issue. The issue is, but what if this person is wrong in ways that not even they are capable of understanding? Being wrong in a way that you're not capable to understand, it's something that's fundamentally true for all of us, okay? Myself included. But you should have at least applied effort, is to say, listen, to what extent, known extent, am I wrong? If I make an argument, to what known extent is this argument true? And then these people, they don't do these things. And when they don't do these things, conversations, largely so, then become poisonous. They don't become productive. In fact, they become counterproductive. Okay? When I say conversations, I'm referring to conversations that normally trigger a set of productive actions. Actions that in the long run are supposed to impact the quality of a workspace, the quality of a community, the quality of a family, the quality of the thinking of an individual. And that is a concern for me. That is a great concern. So, yeah.